afternoon, hello, welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. This is my Canyon Aeroad CF SLX rim brake X Canyon DHB team bike, previously ridden by Andy Tennant, and this bike has done the Tour of Britain. Since then, I've taken it on and really took the bike to some success. I've won one bike race and finished last in multiple chain gangs. Anyway, nitrile gloves on and ready. I'm doing a road race tomorrow and I'm preparing the bike. So I thought, well, I wouldn't be a YouTuber, would I, if I didn't make a video about it. So I've got a couple of bits to change and I'm just gonna have a bit of a flit over the bike, just check everything's okay. But there's a few things that I go through every single time. So I thought I'd just talk you through what I look for in my race bike before doing a race to hopefully make the bike actually work every single time when I'm relying on it. So for starters, a clean bike is a fast bike. So this bike does not go out in the rain or bad weather, so it's never really very dirty. So I've just gone over it with a cloth and then I'll finish it off with some like Demon Shine, this isn't sponsored or anything, spray on shine. It's like a quick detailer, so it's like a really thin wax or polish based liquid. Spray it on, buff it off with the microfiber cloth. It's not much work. It gives you a little bit of hydrophobic coating, so when it rains the water all beads on it. It doesn't get quite as mucky. Gives it a nice deep glossy shine, and as we know, if you can't win the race you need to win Instagram. So as long as the bike looks good, who really cares about the race result? But if you like the bike you're riding and you think it looks good and feels good, you're going to go better. Now, although cleaning the bike isn't going to make you win races, what it actually does is prompt you to have a close look over at your bike. So when you're racing and you're going through potholes and you're rattling through stuff, you might cause some damage that you don't necessarily notice. But when you're doing this, you're quite close to it and you're having a good look. So if you can see there's a little chip up there. Now that's been there for a while, and I'm actually quite interested as to the history of this bike. Underneath all the chips, it is like a dark red, and I think these bikes are ex-Team Katusha, so feel free to let me know in the comments down below if you think so. I don't know if you can see that or not, but like underneath the red, I don't think it's like a red primer, it looks more like it's red paint anyway. So yeah, promise you to have a good look closely at the bike all over. There are numerous scuffs on this. It is a crit bike, I've crashed it once myself, so you know, it is what it is, but I'm just checking for any cracks or any major big damage. So then I tend to go through things that move, so wheels, I'm just feeling all the spokes just to make sure the spokes are all, you know, still tensioned up, there's not a loose spoke, make sure the wheels spin freely, there's no grinding in the bearings or anything. Same with the headset while I'm there. I'm not really doing like a deep look into it, I'm just giving it a quick once over. This whole process takes me maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. I'll then move back to the crank. Now I've taken the chain off of this bike. I'm very lucky to be supported by NRG chains, and NRG supply me with a wax drivetrain, so ceramic bearing jockey wheels and wax chains. And when I'm training, I'll have a training chain on, which is a YBN slightly lower spec chain, or a race chain that I've perhaps already raced on a couple of times. And then when I want to go to a race, I do put a fresh chain on, because I like to think that that is a marginal gain in some way, and I know that it's going to be absolutely fine. It's not going to start making a noise halfway around. So I'm getting out the chain to use today to put on the bikes. I've taken the old one off, but when the old one's off, I'm just going to make sure the crank's still spinning freely and there's no grinding in the bottom bracket bearings. I don't have any fancy ceramic bearings in the bottom bracket, so it could be better maybe, but I think that's actually pretty good. And I'm also checking pedals and stuff as well. I do want to change these pedals out for some speed play ones I've got, but not today when I'm racing tomorrow. Moving back to the rear mech, so you'll notice there's no battery on this. I'll take the batteries off and charge both of them just so I know they're fully charged for race day. I'm actually just swapping out now. I've always been running these standard jockey wheels. NRG have very kindly sent me some blue, we know blue is fast, ceramic bearing jockey wheels, so I'm just swapping those out. I've done the bottom one, which obviously spins around really nicely. The top one is still to change, and we can see the difference there. I mean, it's marginal, it's tiny. I don't even know if there's a measurable gain from that, but just knowing that you've got something on there that's a little bit better than the thing that's on before really helps me out. NRG have given me a code that will get you 10% off of a race chain if you are interested in wax chains. I don't get anything from that, but they do support me, so if you want to get a wax chain for your bike and support the channel, that is the best way to do it. It's the same story at the back end with regard to checking spokes and having a look over the cassette, making sure there's no bits missing from it. This is a SRAM Red one-piece cassette, so if there was a bit missing from it, that's a problem, but it was all looking okay. I will also have a good look over on the tyres. Sometimes there's a little bit of flint stuck in your tyres, and if you then go to a race and a bit of tarmac just pushes it further in, I've got tubes in here, so a puncture would be a problem. Just having a good look over, make sure there's nothing stuck in the tyres. Brakes, I tend to put the bike on the floor so that it's under load a little bit, so I'm checking that the calipers are pushing on evenly and there's not one, they don't need aligning anyway, but I'll do that in a second. And that is about it. I don't always check, like do a spanner check. I might have a physical like pull of things and check things that aren't visibly wobbly. I'll check things like skewers and seat, saddle bolts, but other than that, because it's just a quick run through, I'm not going to be spanner checking every single bolt on the bike. chain fitted, jockey was fitted. Now when you get a wax chain, the wax is all built up on it, so I've spent 10-15 minutes just running it through just so it's nice and supple now. That'll be absolutely fine. Sometimes I get wax chains that have got like a PTFE coating on, that'll make them last a little bit longer, but with things like this, a couple of 100 miles or 200-300 miles, however many, it'll be ready for me to change it then anyway, because I'll probably have got caught out in the rain somewhere, or I'll have washed the bike with it chain on and like scrubbed it or something. So I'm not too fussed about having all the PTFE coating on it as well. Plus I think it looks cool when it's like a rainbow colour. It's good to look at it and it look cool. So there we go. I know what you're thinking, free hub sound check. Apparently that's a thing on YouTube, so let's have a listen. I won't draw it out for ages, don't worry. That's good, isn't it? There won't be much freewheeling tomorrow though, I don't think. So I think I said earlier, when I get down on the ground, just make sure everything's firm still. Test the brakes are locking on well enough to stop me coming down the hill and so on. They're absolutely fine, so I'm not going to investigate those any further. Of course, I'm a third cat, so I have my shifters turned in nicely so I can get aero. Computer charged, power meter pedals charged, batteries charged on the max, one bottle cage on, so that's all I need. Ready to go, no spares or anything because it's just a race, and there we go, race bike ready to rock and roll. If you've got any thoughts or comments or any things that you go through before a race, let me know in the comment section down below, and looking forward to getting stuck in with this tomorrow. See you later.